Not happy about Donald Trump's Iran blitzkrieg, and the real fight could just be beginning. Stay with me. Welcome to Occupy Democrats. I'm David Reddish. And I apologize for looking like hell right now, but when you have breaking news, you gotta do what you gotta do. As you probably know, Donald Trump, who once said an attack on Iran would cause World War III, who said he didn't want war with Iran, who claimed Barack Obama would attack Iran out of desperation, just had a change of mind.
We're coming on the air at this hour because we have breaking news. President Trump has just announced on social media that the U.S. has just completed three successful attacks on 3 nuclear sites in Iran. This is the post that he put out just a short time ago. We have completed our very successful attack on the 3 nuclear sites in Iran, including Fordo, Natanz, and Esfahan. All planes are now outside of Iran airspace. A full payload of bombs was dropped on the primary site, Fordo. All planes are safely on their way home. Congratulations to our great American warriors. There is not another military in the world that could have done this. Now is the time for peace. Thank you for your attention to this matter. That statement from President Trump right there, if you'll remember, he gave a 2-week deadline for him to consider whether or not he was going to use those bunker-busting bombs on that Iranian nuclear site. And now the president making that decision tonight and following through. I do want to get to our Ian panel, who's been following all of this very closely. Ian, I believe you are still there on the ground in Israel. What can you tell us about what you're learning?
Yeah, this is a major event. I mean, we have been speaking to Israeli officials over the last few days, and they were certainly making it clear to us that this 2-week window that had been set up by President, first bombs were dropped by Israel on Iran. But the difficulty...
Iran has yet to respond to Israel or the attack by the United States. And while most commentators are baffled that Trump gave a 2-week deadline and then broke it himself, if you watch our channel, you know some of us called this earlier today.
Did he just say... Is this guy dumb? No, there was not a 2-week deadline that he broke. There was 2 weeks for the U.S. to decide if they want to actually bomb Iran, but they ended up doing it in 2 days. It wasn't a deadline for Iran. It was a deadline for the U.S. itself to decide whether they should attack Iran or not.
For more on that, see our other videos here on the channel. So back to the attack. Where does that leave the United States, Iran, and Israel? Trump will address the nation later tonight, and most of the U.S. government, like the rest of the world, is just in shock at the moment. That hasn't, however, stopped one Republican congressman from erupting in fury. Following the attack, Massachusetts Congressman Thomas Massie said this on Twitter.
Yeah, I'll say it's a shot. I mean, it came out of nowhere.
Succinct, but the implications are
not constitutional? How is it not?
Major. So here's the big question. Did Donald Trump have the authority to act against Iran without a declaration of war? And before you say Article 2 of the Constitution allows the president that kind of power, you need to consider something. The Constitution says a president may only act against an imminent threat. Earlier this week...
So you're telling me Iran is not a threat?
Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, said this.
Gabbard and the intelligence community has said there's no evidence of Iran is building a nuclear weapon. Trump has spoken out saying they're wrong and underestimating a threat. The president stands by his time.
Yes, that is true. But it was later changed, later recorrected. So there was an actual
2 weeks.
Threat.
As he weighs
everyone knows that there's a threat. Everyone knows Iran is a threat to the U.S. They have been saying death to America for how long? For a while. They're the cause behind a lot of mass casualties that happen in the U.S.
Military action against Iran, though he insists he will not send American troops into combat.
Now, at Trump's behest, yesterday Tulsi Gabbard did backtrack somewhat and say it was possible that the Iranians could have a bomb in the near future. But the point is this: they did not have the bomb, and no U.S. intelligence said that they did. In other words, Iran...
Oh my gosh, this guy's making me mad. It's not about if they had the bomb. We know they don't have a nuclear bomb. We're trying to prevent them from having one. Because if they do have one, it is going to be a threat. And building one, conducting one, and trying to build one is already a threat to the U.S. Just because it isn't built, I don't mean it ain't a threat.
Iran and its nuclear program were not an imminent threat to the United States or anybody else. That's why Massey, a member of Trump's own...
You're telling me they're not a threat to Iran? I mean, not a threat to Israel? They're definitely a threat to Israel.
Party is now calling this action unconstitutional, which means Trump could be impeached for this by his own party. And MAGA is already hotly divided over Trump's handling of the situation. So, are there enough Republicans to stand with Democrats and end this mess once and for all? That remains to be seen, as does the actions of Iran following this attack. We will have more on this and other breaking stories as they develop, so stay with us.